So I see Coach Zach back in the lineup for the first time in, I think, 3.5 weeks. How nice was it to have him in game 2?
Yeah, it's huge. He's just such an important piece of our team. He's physical. He's hard to play against. He can play center. He can play wing. He's a really good defensive player. He's one of our best penalty killers. So getting a player like him back, especially when you got a guy like Murray out, you need all the heavy bodies you can take against a team like Syracuse.
You mentioned Murray. Michael Hauser's been out too. Is there dealing with some injuries? Any updates to either?
Murray's still out. Will not be available this week. And Hauser practiced today with the team for the first time. He's still not eligible. He's not back yet, but he's on the way back.
Can you talk about the line of Michael Mersch, Mason Knopf, and Anton Wahlberg? And you have two guys that are in their 30s and an 18-year-old who have been playing on it forever.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny. You know, that Mershey said if he has another son, he might have to name him Anton because he's got Mason already as a son. And he's got Mason on his line. And the Ops lived with him in the playoffs last year too when his lease was up. So, Yabo and Mershey have been together for much of the last 2 years. They have very, very good chemistry together. And then Anton fits them because Anton plays a north direct heavy game. That's his style. Naturally, he's a big power forward with skill. They want to play a predictable north-based game, and Anton naturally fits into that.
Is it interesting, like, you say natural, but that can't be necessarily like super easy for a kid his age to be playing with guys of that caliber, right? So how much of a credit is it to just him individually get this work out?
Well, yeah, it's a real credit to Wally. This is a big step for most 18, 19, 20-year-olds aren't in this league. And so for, Cooley, Rosie, Osland, and, Neuchev, Wahlberg, a lot of these guys, just to be in this league is hard. And then to be in this league succeeding and trying to helping your team make the playoffs, trying to help your team win in the playoffs, those are very demanding things. And Wahlberg's done a good job of that.
First couple games, first 2 games, you kind of let 2-0 lead slip away. A couple days later, did you notice any constants between the two of you guys work on?
Well, yes, we certainly are some things. I think that in game 2, we lost too many face-offs and too many offensive zone puck battles. And so then they're a possession-oriented team. They're old, heavy, physical team. And so when you lose face-offs and ozone puck battles, you just spend too much time defending. We defended incredibly well, but when you spend a lot of time in your D zone, eventually bad things are going to happen. Pucks are going to be deflected in or bouncing off shin guards or whatever that is. And so we need to win more faceoffs. We need to win more ozone puck battles to keep us on offense.
Is there anything you can do to work on that? Just practice faceoffs this week in practice?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's faceoffs, some of it's the centers studying the guys that they're going against and the guys they're struggling against, and they do a really good job of that. Our centers take a lot of that on themselves. Some of it comes from us. There's a price to pay to win in the playoffs and to score in the playoffs against the team, against anybody. And you got to be willing to pay that price. I mean, Myers, Day, they're bigger physical defensemen aren't going to stop cross-checking it. So we just got to, we got to do a better job of putting ourselves in better positions offensively, playing a little faster mentally to avoid more of those situations where you get into the corner against their 6'4", 6'5" D-men, that is to their advantage. Their 6'4", 6'5" D-men chasing our skill around the zone gets us to our advantage. So you need to try to find ways to play to your advantage and away from their strengths.
When you have, with the AHL playoff scheduling, such a long break in between games, have you kind of figured out the balance between focusing on things and not going overkill and trying to revamp things too much?
Yeah, I think it's really important as a coach that you don't stray from your identity. You need to make adjustments, and we made adjustments from game 1 to game 2, and we'll make adjustments from game 2 to game 3. But you can't lose your identity because then you lose your sense of who you are as a team. We're a really good team for a reason. We have things that we believe in. We're going to stick to those things. Are we going to adjust because of our opponent in a playoff series? A few things, 100%. My thing as a coach, what I've tried to do here in Rochester over the years in playoff series or even at times in the season is offer our players solutions to our problems. And instead of I don't think the answer isn't always, well, you just got to work harder. Our guys played their tail off. Those were two physical battles. So what we try to do as a coaching staff is present solutions to some of the problems that we're having so they can solve their problems as a group and as a group of individuals.
You're talking about kind of the price of paying in the playoffs. How do you think your team did those first two games and raising their level of play to come along with the atmosphere and the environment in the playoffs, things like that?
I thought our physical commitment to playing winning hockey was great. We were very physically demanding to play against. We blocked shots. We finished checks. We were hard to play against. Like I said, we need to win more puck battles. That'd be the only thing. The only thing on the physical side of the game that I don't think we did a good enough job of in Game 2 is winning enough puck battles, especially in the offensive zone, to extend ozone possession time.
Going on the road this weekend, half of your roster has played in these playoff runs before. How do you kind of prepare the rookies for that first time in a hostile environment in the playoffs? Yeah,
I mean, I think that like a good chunk of our younger guys have been in this environment before, and then some of the rookies, they've hardened themselves over a season of going through these things. Going into Utica and Syracuse 6 times each to play old, heavy, physical teams, smaller buildings, good crowds. You go through those things and they harden you and they battle test you over the course of the season. And then a guy like Noah Ostlund, he was here last year seeing these experiences, watching the games in the playoffs, seeing the environments and stuff like that. So all those things just help prepare you.
How do you think that Levi there in the first playoff game?
I thought he was very good. Really good in Game 1 in that win. Game 2, I thought he was strong as well. It took some real good deflections and a couple, fortuitous bounces to beat him. I thought his play was outstanding.
Abs, earlier you were talking about Myers and Day being tough defensive and kind of grind down for you guys. They just got Crozier, Lillard, back, Tompkins in goal. How much more difficult does that make things when you guys get into the attacking zone? Those are really good players. So I don't want to say it doesn't help their team. It does. They're good players. But, whoever the other team rolls out is who you have to play. And I don't spend a lot of time worrying about the opponent's roster and who goes down and who goes up because whoever they play is going to be a darn good player that's playing in the playoffs, that's committed to winning, that's hard to play against. That doesn't bother me. That helps them, sure, but I worry about our roster, not theirs. Your team, your roster was great on the road this season. And you won the last 2 games in that building. You last year won Game 5 in that building. So is there confidence in this group just knowing how battle tested you did away?
Yeah, I think the group has confidence in themselves everywhere, and that's an earned feeling through what we've went through this year. Ups and downs, a lot of adversity. Times the lineup's been beat up, and guys are out or up in Buffalo or whatever that is, back against the wall last year in the playoffs. All of those things, you earn a collective belief in yourself and in your group because you haven't quit on each other in hard times and you've stood up for each other in hard times. And I thought these games are even a good example of that. Like the first game, they come back and tie it 2-2, and our next 3-4 shifts were amazing, and we go back and get the game winner. And we make a kind of a gaffe on our own to allow them to get the 3-2 lead, and it didn't rattle us. We went back and tied it up late and had 3 or 4 great chances to win it in the last couple minutes of the game. So this group has shown a resilience, an inner spirit that they're not giving up on each other because they've earned that from each other throughout the year.